Hey everyone, it's Tim from Linessa Farms Specialty and Heirloom Livestock. Today we are going to start answering some of the frequently asked questions that we get. Questions like, what do you do with your babies as soon as they're born? Do I need to feed alfalfa hay? Do you give your babies any injections? When do I dock tails? All kinds of fun stuff. Top 5 questions that we have received lately, we are going to answer right now. What kind of hay do I need to feed? I get asked this question a lot. Depending on where you're at in the United States, you may have a wide variety of different hay options for you. Some of you are going to have alfalfa. Some of you are going to have alfalfa grass mix. Some of you are going to have things like tuft grass, clover, all kinds of different options. I get asked a lot, do I need to feed pure alfalfa? People think, well, if I feed pure alfalfa, it's the healthiest, most nutritious hay. The answer to that is no. You do not need to feed alfalfa. As a matter of fact, I advise against feeding straight alfalfa. It tends to make the rumen a little too acidic. It's a little too hot, quote unquote. It can also lead to cud spilling, where the animal's barfing up green cud. It's a little too hot for them. Now, and I'm just talking about general everyday hay. I use a grass alfalfa mix. And again, requirement for general maintenance on an animal is 1 flake per head per day. This is a flake. You got about 14 flakes in a small bale. 1 flake per head per day. The reality is the animal absolutely must have hay in order to survive and keep their rumen going well. But they can probably survive on about this much hay a day. If you're supplementing with grain, do not do this. This is just for educational purposes only. If I was going to be showing an animal for show purposes, I could feed them all the grain I wanted and give them a fistful of hay per day. But the reality for those of us that are raising for commercial purposes, show purposes are a whole nother animal. I'm telling you, 1 flake per head per day of a good quality grass hay or a grass alfalfa mix. I'm not a fan of going with all grass. I'm not a fan of going with all alfalfa. I think a happy medium of both is good. With that being said, I would, if I had to pick between you going all grass or all alfalfa, I would tell you to go all grass every day of the week. You're going to get more bang for your buck by feeding your animal. If you're going to feed them more grain, not more hay. You're going to get a lot more bang for your buck going with more grain versus more hay. So again, flake per head per day, that's all you need. Okay, interesting enough, the next thing I was going to tell you that I get asked a lot is, hey Tim, how can I tell when a ewe is getting ready to have babies? You talk a lot about when goats are getting ready to have babies. I have a video right here telling you how to check your goats, talking about testing the bands on the back. Can't do that with a sheep. The best way to tell when your sheep is going to go into labor, this is very coincidental, I just walked in here, is if you look right here. Everybody's out eating, and Millie here is laying down on her side, off by herself, not having anything to do with anybody. This is a prime example of what is happening when she's getting ready to have a baby. I would bet the farm Millie here is going to have a baby within probably the next hour. Another way that you can tell, you're going to see your ewes are going to get really big and really full, and their udders are going to get really full and engorged, and you're going to look at them and you're going to say, oh my goodness, surely they're going to have a baby really soon. What you'll actually notice is right before, about 12 hours before that ewe gets ready to have that baby, her hips are going to drop. That baby is going to drop to get into position to get into the birthing canal. And when you look upon the spine in the back area here, along the dock, see how she's starting to sink in on her sides, and she's kind of got a sunken in look on her sides. And that is a prime example of the baby going down into the birth canal and getting ready to come out. If you look at this mom here that has had her babies a couple days ago, you can see she's more filled out along her back, and she doesn't have a sunken in appearance back towards her dock quite like the other ewe did there. So I would say she'll be getting ready to have her baby here within the next, I would say hour to hour and a half. All right, so the next question I want to tackle is banding and docking tails. We band our tails here on the farm. If you check out right here, this is a link to show you how we go about the banding process. Number one question I get asked is, at what point in time is it appropriate to band your animal's tail, to dock your animal's tail, and castrate? The quick answer to that is 1 week of age. So 7 days is when you want to band your tails. You can go a little under 7 days, you can go a little over, but I tend not to go over 7 days. If the animal's not feeling well or they're not progressing as they should be, you don't want to do anything that's going to stress them out on top of something that's already going on and an already underlying condition. So that would be a time that you would want to wait. But general rule of thumb is dock those tails 7 days of life. Hey, have you subscribed to our channel yet? Why not? All the cool kids are doing it, and you should do it too. Click below to sign up and subscribe and learn all kinds of cool stuff that you can share with your friends. Next question we get asked quite a bit, do I need to be there when my ewe is having a baby? No, you don't need to be there. Does it make much of a difference? Not really. You're going to lose a few lambs every year if you're a large producer. It's an unfortunate truth. Number one way that we lose lambs is breech birth. If we're not there, if you're not there when your ewe is having a baby and that baby is breech, it is probably going to die. And the reason for that is the lamb is coming out backwards. The hoof presentation, you'll be able to see the hooves are going to be pointing like this with the bottoms up. And if they are, what happens is as that ewe is pushing that baby out, when the umbilicus is broken, it's going to trigger that baby to take a breath. More than likely, the baby's still going to be in the birth canal. It's going to take a breath and it's going to aspirate on fluid and drown and die almost immediately, or it's going to come out with extreme amount of fluid in the lungs and it's going to get an infection and die shortly thereafter. I personally have not seen a breech survive unless I am there to pull it. If you see a breech birth occurring, you need to pull the baby and you need to get it out of there as quick as possible. So quick answer is no, you do not need to be there when your ewes are delivering. Most of them are going to deliver just fine, and you'll just come out there in the morning and you're going to find the baby and everything will be great. But if you can be there, yeah, you should. It's not going to hurt anything. Most of your babies are going to be born at daylight or at sunset. So when your ewes are due, and this goes for your does as well, when you know they're getting close to having babies, make it a habit to go out there, be out there right before sunrise, and make sure that you're out there at sunset. Keep a good eye on them and see if anything's making you think that they may be going into labor or maybe having the baby soon. Okay, the next question I get asked is, what do you do with your ewes when they're having babies? I don't do anything with them. I let my ewes have their babies out in general population. I want to give them plenty of room, and there's a reason for that. When ewes are having babies, especially if they're going to have twins, what you'll find is they do a lot of flipping and flopping around as that baby's getting into position, and I like to afford them all kinds of room. Now, once mom has delivered the baby or the babies, that's when we place them in a lambing jug or a lambing pen. A lambing jug or a lambing pen, they're referred to different ways in different parts of the country, is a small enclosed area that is just for mom and for baby. If you look here, this is a lambing jug, a lambing pen. It has everything that mom needs. It has water for mom, it has a heat lamp, and it's just mom and baby, and they spend about 48 hours in here so they can get used to and comfortable with one another. Mom learns baby's smell, baby learns mom's smell. It allows us to keep a close eye on them and keep them together. It helps them to bond, and outcomes are way, way better. You will be doing yourself a huge favor if you do this. Now, I understand that a lot of you don't have the space or the real estate to build these permanent pens, and that's okay. Go to the farm store, get yourself a few panels, cut those panels down so you have a pen that is 6 foot by 6 foot or 6 foot by 8 foot, and use some clips to clip those panels together in the corners, or use zip ties to clip those panels together in the corner. Put some bedding down in it and you've got yourself a lambing pen that you can use for 48 hours. When you're done, take it apart, fold it up, and put it up against the wall and keep it until next year. So that is what we do with our ewes when they're having their babies. All right, so do I give shots to my newborn babies? The answer is yes. I give a shot that is 1/2 CDT and 1/2 aqueous penicillin. I give 1/2 cc of the CDT, 1/2 cc of the penicillin subcutaneously. That means under the skin. These two mix together just fine. So draw you up a couple cc's of CDT, a couple cc's of penicillin into a syringe, shake it up really good, and you're going to inject 1/2 cc subcutaneously into the animal at birth. That is going to help protect against things like navel ill and infection that may occur during the birthing process. All right, so that wraps this up for today. We're kind of changing it up. We get so many emails and so many questions that I think I'm going to start regularly just kind of doing this question and answer thing at least every couple weeks. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. If you haven't given a thumbs up, consider giving a thumbs up. It really helps us out, and we really do appreciate it. The other thing that I wanted to mention is if you have feedback, all feedback is welcome, positive and negative. Just put it in the comment section below. We really do appreciate that. And chances are, if you're thinking of a question that you want answered, someone else is as well. So don't be hesitant to ask questions. We're more than happy to answer. And we will see you again next time.